Today I'm looking at a Ford Mustang. This is a 2005. The wipers only work on full speed. So I'm using a Haynes manual because I don't have a wiring diagram. Figured out that the black wire is the ground at the switch. We're looking at the switch here. If I go to the black wire on here and back probe it, I've just removed the steering wheel first of all and the airbag. Loosen the screws here so I can get to the back. But the black wire at the back, if I back probe that one, I'll just show you, it does have a ground. I'll touch it with this Ortel probe. Hold on 1 second, not got the pin in there. I do have a ground. Now I'm on that black wire. I'm waiting for that to go green. So the black wire does have a green all the time. I'm just touching the side of this back probe pin because it's easier than trying to get this in the other way. So we've got a ground. And then the red wire, because it's only working on speed 5, but if we speed high, I mean, the high speed here says it's pin 5. And if I look at pin 5, that's the red wire coming into it. So I'm going to move this along to the red wire now. I'm going to guess that this one, when I put it onto, see we've got voltage there now. Let's see if I can get into that. It's a bit of a rainy day today, so I'm just trying to do some checks inside. Got 10 volts in there. I put the wipers on, doing it all with one hand. I put the wipers on. That's speed 1 or intermittent. There. So that does get grounded out when I'm on to speed 2, which is what we expected. So we know that this is working, and the wipers come on. So I'll show you on here. We know this pin 5 is working, the red one. So if we've got power on there, we know that we've got power coming into it. And it'll be coming in through the relay, the control side of the relay. Also goes to the control side of that relay and makes its way over to fuse 3. Hot in run or accessory position. So we know that fuse is okay. And we know that this ground's okay just from this check. Well, we checked it and it lit up green. But we know on the control side that that circuit's all good. Next we saw the wiper come on, so we know that this one in the high position, which is this one right here, so we know that this wire gets its power from the 10 amp fuse here, fuse 10, sorry, fuse 9, 30 amp, so that one comes down into this one and it powers the, we follow that along there, down there it comes to the load side of the relay. So if this relay is in that position, it would pass on here, and this one's energized because we know it's energized because we're energizing it on pin 5, the red wire. So that'll switch over, that one must be switching over as well, so that the power's coming in through here, through this one, into there, and then through that one because that relay's being energized by us putting the wiper into that position. It's getting grounded out. So that relay's on. We know this works, so we know that this big black wire here must be okay, otherwise the motor wouldn't work, and we know that that fuse must be okay. So why are the other ones not working? I'll just check them. So the next one we've got is the slow speed, or low speed, is 4. So if we look here at 4 comes along, and that's a yellow and red wire. So we need to go to the yellow and red now and see, do we have power there, and does it get grounded out when we put the switch into that position, the same as we've just done with the other one. So there's a yellow and red. Hopefully it's the right one. So I've got it into low, 2 clicks up, because we've got intermittent and then low, and it's getting grounded out, so we know it's not the wiper switch. Let's switch that off again here, go down to intermittent, and we've got the 10 volts back. So we know it's not the switch. So that's 2 checks. We could check the intermittent and see what's going on there. Whilst I was here, I've gone ahead and checked this one at the end. Washer. Now this has had somebody do some work on this, but that wire, got one side that's ground, same as the others, and the other one is light blue and orange. If I'm into that wire, I've only got 0.4 of a volt. But if I work the washer, I'll try and do this. So it's all in shot. There, you see it gets grounded out when we work it on here. But somebody's rewired it to work with a push switch there. So I'm not sure why, but we don't have the full voltage there that like the other ones. The control side from this relay. But this one is coming through the module, so it may work differently. It's got some sort of a module here. Windshield wiper motor. So I'm guessing that is all inside the windshield wiper motor. There's 1, 2, 3 relays. There's the washer one. If we ground this one out, the washers don't work, but let's had somebody fit that button. And we know that the switch is working good in position 2 and position 1. So it's still not energizing the relay. What else do we have here? Off. 1, off. Intermittent is number 3. So let's go to number 3. On here. Where's 3? It's not showing there, not showing there. Right. Trying to get a wire color. But that's position 3 here. It's not showing it because it's going to be the yellow and red through this one as well. We've got a white one or a dark blue and orange. So that's going to affect it, the position of the intermittent wipe. But we still got no slow speed. So, excuse me, my next check is going to be, we know these are okay, but nothing seems to be happening with this electronics module. We know the fuses are okay to it. Got this one's got power all the time coming direct from that fuse. Now power with the ignition on, that's direct from this fuse here, comes round there, energizes that relay on the control side. The next relay on the control side also branches off and does the wipers, the washers I mean, on the control side. So that must all be working. Somebody's rewired a little bit of it here, so I'm not sure what they've done. But the other thing is, that wire that goes to the control sides here, around there, also goes to this module, or electronics it calls it, that's in the wiper motor. So we've got one power there going into it that's coming from this fuse. We don't know that that one there's got power, but if the red and yellow must have some sort of power because it's passing it on to here, but there could be a break in the wire going this way. Could be a fault with that. The other thing is we've got this one here, this little wire here is also black, goes to the ground. See that one? So we know that this motor worked, so that ground wire is good. That's the black one there. But there's another one next to it that comes from this, so maybe we've got to check that ground. Because if that ground's not working, maybe that module's not going to work. So I've got another ground to check there. Actually at the motor, but as far as the switch is concerned, it's looking like it's not the switch. I've removed the wiper arms, and they were quite tight in there. I had to use a wiper puller. But I think I found the problem. Under here is full of water. Don't know if it's showing. There. It's full of water right where the wiper motor sits, so I'll take that out and see what's going on. I'm going to run through some wires and check them, starting with the red and orange. Red and orange is the load side, 12 volts all the time. Yeah. The next one is the red and yellow, which has to be red and yellow. Gotta be that one, right? Red and yellow, because the other one I would say is yellow and red. It's a different wire, so that one shouldn't have power. It's not. I put the ignition on, I should have power. Ignition is on, and we've got power. So that one's ignition. That's only got power with the ignition, that's got power all the time, that's how it should be. And it says that the black wire, I think this one's the one for the motor, because it was on. You know, that worked, that's a big wire. I'm not in there. Let's try and get in there. There we go. What about now? Yeah, we've got ground there. It says there's another ground. This one looks like it's for the module, the other black wire. There. Because the black and white is for the washer motor. So this one doesn't have a ground. I would have thought it's too skinny. And maybe, see, there's no ground. What's this one then? Is that really that big one there for the... Why would that be so big if it's just for a washer pump? That's got a ground. That has a ground, but it says black and white is for the washer pump. That one doesn't have a ground. And if I give it a ground, if it'll work. I don't have a ground on the small wire, but when I look inside, it's not looking good with all that water. It might be that it's going to need to be apart. See how you can't really see it, that's full of green corrosion and same in there. So I'm going to have to try and clean that out, see if it works. I've got a feeling it's going to at least need a motor, but I don't have a ground on the ground wire there. The small black one. So I need to fix that as well. I've cleaned it out the best I can. It still isn't great. It's a lot better than it was. That pin there doesn't look good, does it? Right there, the second one across. Also this side's been cleaned out. And I've got all the crap out of the drain. So that's now empty, and it's going to drain now like it should have done. So all I gotta do is try it. Won't make anything worse. I was tempted to take the top off and see if I can see where it shows relays and stuff like that. Am I actually gonna see anything under there? Don't really want to disturb it because I think it's gonna be maybe needing replaced anyway. But that ground still seems an issue. I did wonder, with it being the smaller wire, was the wiring diagram correct, but I've checked it on another one and it definitely says it's pin 3 and 6, and pin 7 is the one with the stripe, that's for the washers. So two different wiring diagrams look the same as each other. I think we should have a ground on here that we don't have. It should be ground all the time. So I may have to give it a ground, see if it works. Still didn't work even when I gave the small black wire a ground. So now I've gone to the yellow red, which is the slow or low speed. I've got voltage there. I'm going to put it on to position whatever, 2 I think it was. First it was intermittent, then it was slow. So let's try that. I've already done these checks at this end, so we've got 1 is intermittent, the next one's slow. That's gone to ground. It's not working. We've got the 2 powers. We've only got 1 ground though, but I gave it a ground, it still didn't work. So I think the motor may be no good as well. Going by that, I think we've just got a no good motor on. The motor's damaged as well, which is probably right, the way it's been sat underwater all that time. If I come to it and I change the motor, it still doesn't go, we can always give it a ground on the small black wire. Join it into the larger big one right next to it. This is what it looks like inside the circuit board. Somewhere in there is those relays. But they may not be relays, might be transistors instead, but they're in there. And that's totally corroded. And this is still full of water. water. So I think we definitely need a motor. I'll take it from there. If I have to fix that little black one, that's not too difficult when I get to it. But for now, I'll wait and see. It might just plug in and work. The main thing was the drain. Hopefully this is helpful to somebody. Thanks for watching.